What if you could completely transform your mind, body, and energy in just 1 month? In the next few minutes, I'm spilling the exact 7 habits that took my life from sluggish to unstoppable, and you can start them today. What if you could completely transform your mind, body, and energy in just 1 month? In the next few minutes, I'm spilling the exact 7 habits that took my life from sluggish to unstoppable, and you can start them today. Science tells us the brain isn't a static organ, it's constantly rewiring itself, and the sweet spot for solidifying a new neural pathway lands right between day 21 and day 30. Researchers at University College London discovered that after roughly 28 days, the dopamine surge that fuels novelty flattens, and the behavior shifts from "I'm trying this" to "I'm doing this." Before I launched this experiment, my baseline was a tired reflection in the mirror, chronic afternoon crashes, erratic sleep, and a mind that fogged over at the slightest distraction. I could barely finish a workout without feeling like I'd run a marathon, and my confidence hovered at a stubborn 3 out of 10. Now picture this. After 30 days of the right routines, I'm waking up refreshed, crushing deadlines with laser focus, and feeling a calm confidence that feels almost uncanny. If you stick with me, you'll see measurable gains in energy, mood, and productivity. No hype, just data. Ready to see which habit rewires your brain faster than a coffee buzz? Stay tuned, because the first habit is a game changer you never expected. Just as I wrapped up the power of a morning sunrise to kickstart my day, let's dive into the next game changer that's literally flowing through my veins. Imagine your body as a high-performance engine. What happens when you starve it of its most basic fuel? The answer is simple. Everything sputters. Drinking roughly 2 liters of water each day does more than quench thirst. It revs up cellular metabolism, lubricates joints, and even flushes out inflammatory toxins that weigh you down. Studies show that staying properly hydrated can boost cognitive function by up to 14%, meaning sharper focus and quicker decision-making. And it also improves skin elasticity, giving that glow-from-within look without any filter. But how do you remember to sip that amount when life feels like a whirlwind? I turn my phone into a hydration coach. Apps like Plant Nanny send cheerful reminders, while a simple marker on my reusable bottle, just a colored band at the half-liter line, lets me see at a glance where I stand. Some folks swear by that 8-glass rule, yet the science backs a fluid intake tied to body weight and activity level, so customizing is key. Within the first week, I noticed my morning fog lift. My skin felt supple, and my afternoon slump vanished. Energy that once dipped at 2 p.m. now stayed steady until dinner. Ready to see what happens when you pair that water rush with movement? Stay tuned, because the next habit will have you lacing up your shoes and redefining what fit really means. But if waking up with a groan was already a habit you'd been resigned to, I was about to flip the script. Imagine a 5-minute ritual that turns your sleepy limbs into a spring-loaded engine. No fancy equipment, just your own body and a sunrise. I started with a dynamic stretch sequence: arm circles, hip hinges, leg swings, and a gentle spinal roll. Within seconds, the muscles that had been dormant all night lit up, blood surged, and my joints whispered thank you. Science backs this up. A brief burst of movement spikes cortisol right when it's supposed to rise, sharpening alertness and setting a positive hormonal tone for the day. Unlike the sluggish cortisol dip we feel after hitting snooze, this sunrise surge nudges the HPA axis into balance, which researchers link to better mood, sharper focus, and even a reduced urge to snack later. The real magic happened after those first mornings. I caught myself reaching for a glass of water before the coffee, swapping the cereal bowl for a quick protein bite, and even making the extra half hour to meditate because my mind felt clearer. One tiny stretch turned into a domino effect of healthier choices, each one reinforcing the next. What if the next habit could turbocharge your metabolism while you're still in your pajamas? Stick around. Habit 3 is about to flip your nutrition game upside down. Now that we've kicked the afternoon slump to the curb with habit number 2, let's zero in on what lands on our plates. Imagine treating every meal like an artist's canvas. This is the heart of mindful eating, and the secret weapon behind the plate method. Picture a dinner plate divided, half bright leafy greens, a quarter lean protein, and the remaining quarter a rainbow of colorful veggies and wholesome carbs. Science shows that visually balancing your plate automatically trims calories because fiber-rich vegetables fill you up faster, signaling satiety to the brain within 20 minutes. I started measuring my lunch the first week: half-plate broccoli, carrots, and red peppers, a quarter grilled chicken, and a quarter quinoa. The moment those crimson tomatoes hit the table, my cravings for that midday candy bar vanished. Why? Color isn't just eye candy. Phytonutrients like carotenoids and anthocyanins boost metabolic rate and curb inflammation, meaning your body burns a little more energy while you're enjoying the flavor. Within 10 days, the scale nudged down 2 pounds. And more importantly, I no longer felt the phantom hunger that used to haunt me after dinner. Have you ever wondered why dieting feels like a roller coaster? Removing the crash comes from feeding your gut bacteria the right palate, and they reward you with steady glucose and fewer cravings. Ready to see how a simple tweak to your sleep can amplify all this momentum? Stay tuned. Habit number 4 will reveal the nighttime ritual that turned my chaos into calm. But before you start swapping late-night snacks for morning power walks, there's one invisible thief that's been hijacking every good intention: your phone. Imagine this. The clock strikes 9 p.m., you flick the switch, and the glowing rectangle disappears from your bedroom. Sounds radical? It's actually the most scientific thing you can do for your brain. When you stare at a screen after dark, the blue light floods your retina and tells your hypothalamus it's still daytime. That cue suppresses melatonin, the hormone that gently nudges us into restorative sleep. Studies show that exposure to just 30 minutes of blue light after 9 p.m. can delay melatonin onset by up to 2 hours, slashing deep sleep cycles and leaving you groggy at sunrise. I used to binge-watch series until 11, and every morning felt like I'd run a marathon in my dreams, until I set a hard cutoff. So what replaces the digital lull? I turned my nightstand into a mini sanctuary, a paperback that smelled of ink, a journal for scribbling tomorrow's ideas, and a 5-minute guided meditation that sent my breath into a slow, rhythmic tide. The result? My sleep latency dropped from 45 minutes to under 10, and I woke up with a clarity that made my coffee swear, "I'm not needed." Curious how tweaking your environment can supercharge your energy even further? Stick around, because the next habit takes that fresh vigor and puts it straight into your body's fuel tank. After you finally reclaimed those wasted night hours in habit 4, you're probably wondering how to keep the momentum going without burning out. That's where micro-learning swoops in. Imagine carving out just 10 minutes a day to feed your brain a fresh skill or fact. It sounds almost too easy, right? Yet research from the University of Texas shows that a 10-minute learning burst triggers the same neurochemical cascade as a full-blown study session, boosting dopamine and reinforcing synaptic connections that make your brain more plastic and resilient. I remember the first week I swapped scrolling TikTok for a short podcast on gut health while waiting for my coffee. By day 4, I could name 3 probiotic strains, and by day 10, my confidence skyrocketed. I even shared the info at work and got a nod from my boss. The magic isn't just in podcasts. Flashcard apps like Anki let you rehearse vocab in bite-sized intervals, while YouTube Shorts condense complex concepts into visual snippets you can replay on the subway. The key is consistency. A daily 10-minute bite stacks up to 70 minutes a week, rewiring your mind without feeling like a chore. So, ready to see how sharpening your mental edge can supercharge your physical stamina? Stay tuned, because the next habit reveals the secret to turning that mental boost into unstoppable energy. And just when I thought my mornings couldn't get any sharper, I realized the real power was waiting for me at night. Every evening, I reached for a tiny notebook and scribbled down 3 things I was genuinely grateful for. Whether it was the golden hue of the sunset, a quick laugh with a coworker, or the simple fact that I could breathe easy after a morning run. Sounds almost childish, right? Yet decades of research from psychologists like Martin Seligman show that this humble ritual rewires the brain's reward circuitry, boosting dopamine and serotonin levels, and dramatically lifts baseline happiness. What's even more astonishing is how gratitude gives you a mental armor against stress. In a study published in Star Psychological Science (Star), participants who kept a gratitude journal were 25% more resilient after facing setbacks, reporting fewer symptoms of anxiety and depression. I felt that shift firsthand during a particularly rough week when work deadlines piled up and my motivation fizzed out. Instead of spiraling, I flipped to my journal, noted the support of an encouraging friend, the crisp taste of fresh coffee, and the fact that my dog waited patiently at the door. Those tiny sparks lit up my perspective, turning dread into determination. Can a few words on a page really change the trajectory of your day? Absolutely. And they set the stage for the final habit that will supercharge your body's recovery and performance. Stay tuned, because the next secret is the one that turned my fatigue into unstoppable energy. So far, we've supercharged our mornings and fueled our bodies. But what happens when the clock strikes night? Imagine rewiring your brain's own thermostat with a single, simple routine. Just a bedtime and wake time. You treat like a non-negotiable appointment. I started by anchoring myself to a 10 p.m. lights out and a 6 a.m. sunrise alarm, guaranteeing those coveted 7 to 8 hours of sleep science tells us are the sweet spot for hormonal balance, memory consolidation, and muscle repair. Ever wondered why you feel off even after a solid workout? Turns out, it's often the hidden hours of restless night. I slapped a sleek sleep tracker on my wrist, not for vanity, but to decode the invisible metrics: sleep latency, REM cycles, and heart rate variability. By watching the data, I tweaked my pre-bed ritual, dimming lights an hour early, swapping late-night scrolling for a few pages of a paperback, and even sipping a warm mug of chamomile tea. Within 10 days, my deep sleep percentage jumped from a sluggish 35% to a robust 55%, and the morning fog lifted like curtains, parting at sunrise. Can you feel the shift in your mood when you wake refreshed versus groggy? I did. My irritability melted, my focus sharpened, and the stubborn muscle soreness from yesterday's HIIT session dissolved overnight. Consistency turned my recovery into a nightly reboot, and my mental clarity became a default setting, not a lucky accident. If you think steady sleep is the final piece of the puzzle, think again. Next up is the habit that ties everything together, turning these gains into an unstoppable momentum. Stay tuned. Now that you've watched the cascade of tiny changes stack up, let's pull the curtain back on the numbers that proved it wasn't just hype. After 30 days, I dropped 7 kilograms of stubborn fat, my resting heart rate slipped from 78 to 62 beats per minute, and my sleep deep phase surged by 22%, exactly the metrics the American Heart Association flags as markers of a healthier heart and brain. My morning focus scores jumped from a shaky 3 out of 10 to a crisp 8, and even my blood sugar spikes flattened thanks to that low glycemic breakfast habit. Imagine shaving off 2 hours of fog every week. What could you finally get done with that reclaimed time? If the data feels overwhelming, remember you only need to plant a few seeds. Pick any 2 or 3 habits that spark the biggest aha moment for you, whether it's the 10-minute sunrise stretch, the blue light blackout, or the protein-rich snack swap, and commit to them for the next 21 days. Consistency, not perfection, is the real catalyst for change, as dozens of habit formation studies confirm. I'd love to hear which combo you're testing first. Drop your plan in the comments and let the community cheer you on. Together, we'll turn those small steps into a lifelong sprint toward unstoppable energy. The biggest lesson? A tiny, consistent habit can rewrite your entire life. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. Your curiosity and support mean the world, and I'm genuinely grateful you're part of this journey. Which of the 7 habits are you most excited to try tomorrow? Waking up with a glass of water, a 5-minute stretch, or a nightly gratitude note? Drop your answer in the comments. I can't wait to read them. If this resonated, smash the like button, share the video with anyone who could use a boost, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you won't miss the next deep dive, where we uncover another game-changing wellness secret. Stay tuned, big things are coming.